Take a look at the Rams tonight. They host the Raiders Thursday Night Football. Less than a year ago, Sean McVay was the coaching toast of the league, leading a parade in Los Angeles and a Super Bowl champ. Today, the Rams are a bottom 5 team in the league. His offense is unwatchable. Matt Stafford's got countless injuries. They're tied for the longest losing streak or second longest losing streak in the NFL. And this morning, ask yourself, if Aaron Donald retires, and he may, are they now a rebuild job? The 49ers in their own division have far better players and a much better group of veteran players. The Seahawks in their division have a far greater group of young star players. He's lost 8 straight regular season games to his coaching rival, Kyle Shanahan. It drives him absolutely nuts. That's his rival. And the Rams not only don't have top picks, Aaron Donald's hinted at retirement. Cooper Kupp's hurt again. He's 30, will be when the season starts. Matt Stafford, there's thumb, there's elbow, there's a spinal issue. And Bobby Wagner's now moving closer to mid-30s than early 30s. And Bobby's been great this year. But I honestly believe, I told the staff this morning, if Amazon came up, they offered him the TV job this year, he said, no, I'm going to stay with the Rams. If Sean McVay was offered a 3 to 4 year deal by Amazon to do Thursday Night Football, I think he would take it. I do not think he wants to be part of the rebuild. And this is what's great about the NFL. I can applaud the Rams for going all in and critique them for where they're at now, old and beaten up with not enough draft capital. The bill always comes due in the NFL, always comes due. They haven't had a first-round pick in 6 years. McVay's never had a first-round pick. And he could leave this sport, come back in 5 years. What would he be, 41? He'd still be one of the youngest coaches in the NFL. So this is what is great about the National Football League. Toast of the town. Grand Marshal of the parade. 10 months, 9 months later, unwatchable, Baker Mayfield has a chance to start tonight for the Rams at quarterback. He's been in town 24 hours. It's a fairly complex offense with marginal running backs, a bad O-line, and Cooper Kupp is hurt. I'm actually rooting for Baker Mayfield tonight just to stay upright. I'm rooting for his health and his safety. But it is unbelievable. The Rams went all in. The bill is due. Watch them tonight if you can. I like the Raiders to roll tonight. So yesterday, this weekend, the NFL flexed the Dolphins and Chargers game. So Tua against Herbert. And they're going to be linked forever because they were taken, at the top of that draft. So a very good columnist in Miami, Dave Hyde of the South Florida Sun Sentinel, surveyed Jimmy Johnson, a former GM of the Dolphins, Randy Mueller, and 3 NFL executives, and said, if you were drafting today, who would you take, Herbert or Tua? And this is a Miami columnist. All 5 said Herbert. Yes, Herbert is 6'6", 238, huge arm and mobile. Tua is 6 feet tall, 217, not hyper athletic, and has been hurt a lot. Tua has recorded 6 games in his career over 300 yards. Herbert had 8 as a rookie behind the second worst graded O-line in the sport. Tua is having a better season. Yes, he got a massive upgrade at head coach and wide receiver and left tackle. Herbert has regressed. Yes, we don't like his coach. His left tackle's gone. His center's been hurt. And Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are rarely available together. Emmanuel Acho was on yesterday. Now, he's taken the Tua side over Herbert. He says, we make too many excuses for Justin Herbert.
How much longer are we going to continue to blame other people besides Justin Herbert? In college, it was Cristobal's fault. Clearly, Cristobal didn't know how to use him. It's Cristobal's fault that Oregon didn't make it to a playoff game with Herbert there. It had to be Cristobal's fault. Then you get to the NFL. We first year had to change his head coach. Then you have Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley, at least at the time, his first year last year, everybody thought he was one of the wisest head coaches in the game. He was young, coached the number 1 defense for the Los Angeles Rams. He was gutsy, if you will, going for it on 4th down. But now it's Staley's fault. it's everybody's fault except Justin Herbert.
Now, I believe there is somebody to blame here. The San Diego Chargers, the strangest team in the National Football League. Not the worst, the strangest. Let me give you some examples. They allowed Drew Brees to leave. They've had 172 selections all time to the Pro Bowl, 12th most ever. And you can't name their biggest win. Never won a Super Bowl. Justin Herbert got his first start because the team doctor punctured the lung of Tyrod Taylor. They are historically cheap when it comes to head coaches. Brian Daboll was a slam dunk. Brian Daboll had groomed Josh Allen. Brian Daboll knew the general manager, Tom Telesco. Brian Daboll was this hot coaching prospect, and they took a defensive coordinator with a young offensive coach who had 4 years in the NFL, who, by the way, year one decided, I'm going to go for it all the time on fourth down, even when it's like at the 28-yard line and I'm facing the Raiders in a really big game. Herbert's career, 99% of the problems have been, it's the Chargers. I like the Chargers. I know the Spanos family. I like them. I root for them. I'm happy when they win. Good people. But this is an organization. They're not the Lions or Cleveland. They're not completely dysfunctional or lacking talent. I could make an argument in the NFL, no franchise regularly has more talent and disappoints us more. They've had 172 selections all time to the Pro Bowl. That's upper third of the NFL. 70 different players. 16th most since the merger. What's the biggest win in franchise history? I'm not sure if all the Charger fans remember. They got to a Super Bowl with Stan Humphries and got rolled. So I think this is just circumstance. That's what I think it is. I know nobody loves that answer. People want something like tangible. But the Chargers let Drew Brees walk. Have had a million good players. Have always been cheap on coaches. Could have had Brian Daboll and chose a kid 4 years in the league as a defensive coach. It's just what they are. It's just what they are. Wildly talented, always fascinating, and break your heart. Herbert over Tua. I believe if you asked every general manager privately in the NFL today, they would take Herbert. Absolutely. I think privately, the Dolphins guy would admit long-term, I'd take Herbert. You just can't say that in South Florida. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.